Okay, good afternoon. Uh, this is Samarth Gupta from Autodesk. I'll be taking you through this session today for, the session title is Rendering Freedom, and I have not actually mentioned the name of the product, so you'll be able to know. So just some housekeeping rules. Maybe just put your, phones off. And to just pay attention to the presentation, to the webinar, because it is quite loaded with a lot of information. And during the end of the presentation, before the Q&A, we'll be having a series of poll questions, and those poll questions can actually earn you some reward from our side. So just remain attentive during the webinar. If you have any Q&A, if you have any questions, queries, you can either use the chat window that is going to be available for you, or you can actually ask during the end of the session. So I hope we are okay. We just start off with our presentation. Okay, so my name is Samarth Gupta. I am the technical specialist for the industrial design and visualization vertical in India. I take care of the entire country. I'm based out of Delhi. I have previously worked as an industrial designer, as an automotive designer in many of the companies, many of the Indian companies in India. And I think I've been in Autodesk the last more than eight years as the essentially the technical specialist, but essentially we do a lot more. We also help Autodesk understand the user needs and incorporate those into products, because that is where we think that we have a bigger role to play. So Autodesk has recently invested in a technology called VRED. It is a visualization technology. And this visualization application is something that we inherited from an existing company in Germany. But why we invested? We invested because we saw a huge opportunity for visualizing the data, and that data is not just automotive or product, but it can be data coming from other verticals and other industries. So I'm going to actually cover all these things in the latter part of my presentation. I'm just giving you a heads up. On the slide that you see, you would see a car which has some of the components exposed. Now these components are coming from many of the CAD softwares. There are many CAD softwares which company or which the industry uses, like NX, like CATIA, like SolidWorks, Inventor. There's so many, and the data can be imported from these software applications. You have also the surface data. The surface developed in one of our softwares. We have a proprietary software called Alias. So that becomes the major supplier of software, major supplier of data to VRED. And it can also come from other sources. So I'm going to discuss that. But once the data is incorporated, we have this visualization tool, visualization technology, which is actually the industry leading now, because now many industries have started to use this software. And you can see the quality of visualization on your right side. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many other things that this application can do. So the topic of this session is rendering freedom, and I want to do justice to the subject as much as possible. So one of the questions for people who already know about Autodesk VRED, one of the questions that can come up is that, is it only for automotive? Well, no, it is not only for automotive. It can cater to other industries. In fact, it is considered as a platform for making visual decisions. So it necessarily, the data may not come only from the automotive studios, but the data can be a factory data, or the data can be a architectural data, or data can come from softwares like Revit. Data can come from softwares like Maya. It can also come from softwares like Inventor. So it is not limited to software. It is the uh, it is the intent to visualize that data. If you really want to visualize precisely, if your intent is to have a very compelling visual imagery or a visualization data of your existing CAD model, then this is the software, or this is the application you should really look at. So that is the whole idea of having this session. So I'll just leave you with 2 or 3 images, and then I'll just and I just am giving you some time to understand that you must have seen such visualization or rendered images before. But you just pause and just think that how these images are so unique, or these images are so precise. Just maybe 1 minute, and then I will go on to the next image. Okay. Okay, so I think it actually gave a glimpse of what I was actually talking about. All the 3 images that you saw were rendered using Autodesk VRED, and you must have seen that the first 2 images were from automotive, but the third one was a data coming from Inventor. It was basically a data coming from the industrial machinery segment. So it is not limited to automotive. So let's move on. So what type of data it can consume? So this is something that you would ask, or it would be in your mind, that what type of data is consumed by VRED. So VRED consumes uh, around. So you have the left side. You can see the small icons, and I'll explain each one of them. You have the first the first file format that you see is actually Alias, and it supports all the surfacing software, surfacing data coming from Alias. Alias is the surfacing tool, or a surfacing data surfacing software used by almost all the product design and automotive design companies. So the chances are that the car that you drive today is it's not a chance. It has to be designed, or uh, you know uh, sculpted using Alias software. Similarly, you can also through CAD data. So VRED supports around more than 40 CAD formats, which includes NX, CATIA. It can include SolidWorks data. It can include Fusion data. It can include STP, step data, IGS file format, so many. It can also import directly Revit. So Revit data will not be imported directly, but it will be imported through DWG. But you can read the DWG file, the Revit files inside VRET. I'm going to give you a live demo. Don't worry on that. It also supports FBX data, which is coming from other applications. Alembic is one file format which is extensively used in the media industry. So, like some of the graphic content coming from Alembic can be read in VRED. Substance is the file which actually comes from Substance Designer, which now recently has been taken over by Adobe. It is basically a tool where you can design various substance materials, and it is the industry standard. Many architectural and many product design companies are using this, and thankfully, a big thanks to our development team that VRED as a software can support this substance library directly. So which means that you don't have to hunt for materials. You can use the same materials in the VRED software. Apart from that, you have HTML5 because you also want to make your scene interactive. So HTML5 content can be read, HDR files can be read within VR, images can be read. AXF also can be read, which is actually the material, the physically measured materials. So there is a lot of material, a lot of file formats which can be read inside VRED. So what do you do when you import so much of data or so many different data? You have to prepare the scene. You have to really work inside the software. And why you are working inside the software? Why you want to take all this pain? Because you really want to, based on your requirement, you can create very compelling images. You can create web applications, maybe images or web applications. You can actually use that content for cardboard VR, or you can also use that content for virtual reality. So one data set which you prepare inside VRED can have multiple applications based on your requirement or based on the type of work that you do. Is the scene is the screen available visible to everyone, Avinash? I'm sorry, can you just put your answer in the chat window?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Someone actually put a chat question, so I was just checking. Okay. Okay, so I'm now I have to now show you some demo case, some use cases, and some live demo will happen. And the first demo that I would like to do is of a car. So let me actually switch back to the software. So is my screen visible?
Yes, Samarth, you can see it.
Okay, so since you can see my screen, this is the VRED software. I will start with automotive, but I will cover the other type of industries which it can help the designers with. So this data is coming from Alias. This car data is coming from Alias, and the type of visualization that you see is possible because you have a proprietary or a type of a library which is available within the software, which is the asset manager. So in the asset manager, you will see whole lot of materials which are available based on your. So you have. So these are the materials which are available in the asset manager. So this asset manager gets installed when you install the software. So there is no need to purchase this asset manager separately. So this asset manager essentially is the repository of materials, repository of the materials, environments, and other data, other geometries, which will help you generate a very compelling image or a compelling visualization data. So I'll just run through this. It is basically carbon fiber. You have various cloth material which are available, leather. You have glasses, and all these things will be will help you once your data becomes more diverse. Okay, you have various types of glasses. Then you have liquid. You have metal. In metal also you have aluminum, chrome. So there are certain categories. You have gold. You also have various type of gold. You can also create white gold, mercury. So I'm not going through this. One of the things that I would touch upon is the X-Rite measured materials. So this measured materials are something which have been created by measuring the physical material. So this is very important. I'll give you a small example. So if I drag and assign this measured material here, actually this is a basketball. So there was a basketball which was physically scanned, and that scanned material generated this AXF file, and this AXF file I can use in my digital to render my digital data, which is coming from a different CAD platform. And you can see that this is not a texture map. This is actually a AXF file. This is not a texture map. Again, I'm saying this is actually the file which is coming directly from the physically measured material. So this is something very unique to VLED. So let me make it again this. So just highlighting this. Now you can see that my car is also standing on the ground, which is good. But what is this ground? This ground is nothing but actually a shadow plane. So this is a shadow plane which is there, and you can see that there are surroundings. So you can see there's a nice garden with trees, very clean roads we can span. There's a building also. But what is that environment? So this environment is not data, it is just an image. And this entire data is surrounded by a dome. Now this dome is mapped with a image, and that image is called a HDR image. So let me show you this real quick. So you have, so if I go to my material tab, I see that there is an environment. I hope that this is the environment. Yeah. So this is the environment, and the environment, actually there are certain attributes which are exposed, like for example the light. So you can actually play with the light of this scene, and you can see that there is very little light. So if I make it 0, so there is no light which is coming from the surroundings. Okay, now why this thing is so helpful? Because this creates an illusion that my car is in a scene. My car is surrounded by data, but there is no data. It's just a HDR image, which I can actually change, which I can change from just changing the HDR file folder. I may have other files, HDR files available. I can change from here. So very quick. Okay, then apart from this, let me give you a glimpse of the type of quality that we are talking. So let me take you near to the dashboard. You can see, and let me yeah, so just made the day slightly brighter. So you can see, I mean, this is the type of quality. This is the type of quality. Just I'll leave you for 15 seconds with this visualization. Okay, so this is the type of quality you can achieve using VLED. I don't know whether you have used any other visualization software, maybe from Autodesk or from elsewhere, but I really doubt if you can generate this type of visual quality, and it's very quickly. I mean, the materials are presets. You don't have to create the materials. The materials are all presets. And then you have these variant sets, which are helpful to understand. Like for example, you have this. This is a open. You call it convertible. Then you can have a coupe, which is a covered car, and then you have another, a sort of a sports car where you can have. So you have three different data sets. But what you have done is that you have prepared your data in such a way that you can make the three data sets, different data sets, work for you in form of a variant set, so that you can easily understand how my three different data sets behave in the same environment. Okay, very important. And then you cannot have a car in only one color, so you will have different colors. So you can have black or other colors, so you have all these presets, and these things will help because if you're doing a review with your manager or to the larger team, I mean, you cannot just do it because they don't have much time with you. They will not spend time with you to sit on the software and change colors. So you need to be very, very quick. So all this pre-work has to be done, and this pre-work can be easily called out during the session or during the review meeting by just pressing one button. So you can assign hotkeys to it, and you can also right now I don't have a hotkey, but I can assign a hotkey like A. So I can, if I press A, okay, so I think A is a different thing. Okay, let me assign Shift and yeah. So that's how it works. It's very, 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 very fast, very, very compelling. So I will not put you through this automotive thing because I really want to discuss the other the data coming from other. Okay, so okay. So as I said, that VRED also supports substance materials, and substance basically is the industry standard for material authoring as well as 3D texturing, and the data which you generate in substance can be read by VRED. So what does this mean? This means that the data that substance library has, or the material library that substance has created, VRED has access to that. I'll show you how. But first, just look at this example, because since we are in the automotive, we are discussing about automotive. Now, the fuel gauge that you see on the left, it's actually not a data. It is just an image. It is just an image which I have downloaded from the substance library. But the good part is that this substance library also allows me to change the color of this dial. It also allows me to rotate this dial. It also allows me to change the depth of this material, the model, the thickness of this fuel gauge, and there is no model that has been created. It's all for visualization purposes. So such technology is exposed inside VRED, where we don't have to work much. We have to just show. This is coming from the assets which are already there. So it actually creates a lot of compelling thing. And similarly, you can also have the wheel rim. So this wheel rim is also not a model. It is just an image which you can download from the substance library. So just wanted to share these two things before we move to architecture and construction, because architecture and construction also, there is an application of VRED or visualization of application of visualization in architecture and construction space. So let me take you back to the software. So we have sort of a data which is coming from Revit. I think Revit, most of the people would be knowing, because Revit is extensively used in the AEC space, in the AEC industry. I think most of the companies who are into architectural design, creating architectural designs, who are into development of buildings, they are aware of Revit. So what we'll do is we'll actually do a quick demo of how data can be read within VRED and how you can visualize that data inside the software. So let me go back to the software again. So I have killed that file, and what I'll do is I'll now import. I'll import import a file. So you can see that I'm importing a DWG file. Okay, it's very, very important. So Revit files, you have a Revit file RVT, you can convert that data set into DWG file, and that DWG file can be imported inside VRED. Now let me import. So when I import, this dialog box will come, and here automatically the software will tell me that it's an AutoCAD file, which is okay. And I go down, I don't have to worry much about this. I will go down. I don't want the surface data. I can. What is very important is that I click here, which is apply materials from the asset manager. Now what it does is that whenever, so you have assigned certain materials inside Revit. What the VRED engine would do is when it imports the DWG file, VRED will try to assign these nearest material from the asset library of available within VRED to that component or that data. Because the data, the material library of Revit is different from the material library of VRED. So just to save time, or just to be more, just to understand, that how my materials were assigned in Revit, this is a very good option. So let me import, and when I press import, on the left side I see that it will show me the status. It shows me that what is the status of my import, and it is imported. So my data has come. You can see some color also to my data, which is okay. But the data has come in one piece. By one piece, I meant that it is not, there is no data loss. Okay. Now, what should I do? Immediately, what should I do is, first of all, I'll check the scene graph. So in VRED, you have something called a scene graph. And I see in the scene graph, I see that the name of the file is mentioned here in green. Now, the green as a color signifies that there is a link. There is a link which is maintained to the original DWG file. Okay, which means that the link is maintained, the bridge is maintained. And if I expand this thing, I will actually see that there's so many components, which is okay. I don't really have to worry about so many numbers or so many file names. What I'm worried is, what I should be doing now is just see that what is my data. I have not seen the data. So these are presumably the windows. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly throw some material so that it gives you an idea that how easy it is to visualize your content coming from Revit. So let me pick this thing, this material, this window, and what I'll do is quickly I will go to the asset library, and either I search from here or I can actually just put glass. When I put glass will come, and these are the various glass materials which are available. So what I'll do is I'll just pick some basic one and just assign. Now when I assign, I see that it's still not showing glass because this is 40% transparent, or maybe I'll just say okay, 40% transparent is okay, or maybe I'll say 80% transparent. Okay, but I still see that it's not, which means that there is something, there is some There is some surface behind this glass surface. So let me like to select the object behind, which is like not very good thing because there's so many things which are. So what I'll do is I'll try to tweak my play around with my toggle my data, and then I see that there is another glass here. So what I'll do is I'll again assign the same material, and now it is transparent. So you can see that there is a glass which has double glass. Okay, so not a single surface, it's a double surface. Now, okay, so I can actually do the same thing with the others. But what I'll do is so if I check here, and I don't want to select each glass separately. What I can do is I can actually see how these are structured in my scene graph. So it's like I think it's one structure. So one structure, and then you assign from here, and you can see that all the glasses, all the surfaces in that scene in that group, they have been assigned the glass material, which is actually very quick. And now you can see that things are more clear now. It brought some clarity to what I am looking at. So you can see that there is sort of a kitchen here. I go inside. I see there are so many stools which are. So I go near a stool. Maybe I'll just pick one stool. Okay, and what I'll do is that I'll try to assign color or material actually to these legs. So again, I go to my and here now I'll just look for wood. And there is wood. Yeah, so this is wood. So what I'll do is I'll choose this, and then I try to assign wood here, and then so okay. So I mean, we got the point actually. Very easy, very handy. Okay, and I just top it up with a different color, which is this, and then okay. So quickly, I have actually created, and you can see that since they were in the same layer or the same group, I made changes to only one stool, and all these tools have been they have been assigned this material, which is actually very good. So this is something very quick, very fast. So let's go inside. Let's continue. So let's come to the sink area, and now you can see that you have a faucet, and you have a sink, and you have a shelf. So let's try to capture something here. Let's try to do it quickly. I think I'm running short of time. I'll just cover it. Just some time for Q&A as well. So essentially, it should be steel. So let me hunt for steel. Also steel. So let me go to miscellaneous, and let me do. Yeah, so I could find steel, and I'll just see. So one is that I just manually do it, or maybe I just hunt for this in the scene graph and just assign that to. So maybe I'll just do quickly. I'll just Okay, I'm just giving you a sort of an overview, so you can if you want, if you are interested, you can practice it later. Okay, so you can see that I have given and this aberration that you see is because of the data. It is not because of the visualization. Okay. Okay, now I have to provide the material for. So I'll just hunt for aluminum. So I have brushed aluminum. Let us see how the brushed aluminum. So I think this is okay. Brushed aluminum. It's pretty neat. Okay, so just very handy, very quick and very handy. And then now we are actually faced with a problem. Why? Because we don't have any granite material for this shelf. If you look at our asset manager, there is no granite here. You can see that there are not many stones. So what you can do now is that you can actually leverage something known as the substance material. So you have this substance material access via web shops here. And what it will do is it will take you to the web shop of the substance website. And you will be given, so I think this is, that substance website has got many materials lined up for you. The only trick is that you need to have a login username and password. So you need to log in and you need to have an access to this library. Okay, so if you have the access, you can download these materials on your laptop and on your system and start using them for your work. Now, luckily, I can actually show you one Granite data I actually downloaded. So I'll show you. So here in the material tab, here you can actually go to create material and create a substance material. So here is the substance material. So you can just say substance material and you can see that the icon appears for the substance material. And then you say, you need to hunt for the material. So, okay. Okay, just hold on. Okay, so I'll go to the and I have these substance materials with me. So what I'll do is I'll take the maybe a granite, okay, and I open it, and I can see that my granite material has come here, okay. And I just apply this granite material here. Now, this may look very easy, but this material, single material comes with various shades also, various variants. In the same granite material has got 3 shades, which is peacock, green, and white. Okay. Now, this is very, very good because you don't have to do anything. You can just apply it. And you will see the quality of visualization here. You cannot achieve this visualization, and this is not even ray traced. And then there are some of the okay. Now, if I want to ray trace, I can also go ahead and do ray tracing. But if you see, if I ray trace, there is no light because the light has to be created within the scene. So what I'll quickly do is, I think I'm running out of time, but I'll quickly actually show you at least how to create light. So what I do is I will create a plastic material real quick, and I assign that plastic material to this tube light. I think there's a sort of a data for tube light. I'll just create plastic material for this tube light, and in VRED you can actually make any material as the source of light. So I just make this as light source, and I give maybe say 84. So you can see that it is white, but I don't think so it will actually give you any it has made any change to this scene. So what the change will be visible once you do ray tracing. Okay, so I think this is still less. What I'll do is I'll just go back and I'll increase the intensity again. Okay, so there is some sort of light that you can see. So one is that you can have a light here, or you can actually create multiple lights near the scene. Okay, so you can keep adding materials from either using the substance material or using the asset library, and you will get a very compelling uh, imagery out of this. I can show you certain examples. Uh, so I have, and this is also one of the substance material that you can actually use. Similarly, you can use this. Yeah. Now, one more thing I'd like to show here is that let's come out of this house and let's go in the front. You can see that there is a silhouette which is, but this is not very compelling. If you are making a compelling visualization, this is not something that you would like to show to your clients or to your customers. So what you should do now is that VRED has got a library to also import mannequins. So you have this asset manager, and in the asset manager we have got geometry. So we have certain partners called Render People. Render People is a partner who actually scan the data, scan the 360-degree views of people, and then superimpose it on data, and then give that asset to or sell those assets to people. So we have collaborated with them, and some of the assets are given free in our asset library. So for example, if I could, so let me import Eric, okay, and let me just drag that mannequin inside the scene. So it has come. Let me see where it has come. So let me just go here. This is Eric. Yeah. So he's Eric. Okay, so he's Eric. You can see the image of, compare this image with this mannequin. And I mean, it's a total shift in the quality of your data. It adds to the overall visualization. And then all this mannequin is actually rigged. So which means that you can play with with certain joints. So for example, if I select Eric, I think it is already selected. Yeah, it is. He's already selected. So I can uh, ask the software to show me his joints. Oh, so it is not showing because it is still showing green. So I have to remove the reference. Yeah, and now yeah. I think I've made some mistake. Yeah. You can see that this mannequin has got joints, and what you can do is that you can actually pick on one of these joints, and you can rotate the, because these are all embedded in the data. It is not something that I have created. It is coming from the data coming from the assets. So it is, and you can actually see that I can do all these things. I can also change his posture. I can do the same with the other hand. I can also do the same with his legs. Okay. So the point is that it creates more drama in your scene. Okay, I can stop tell the software to not show. So you can see that some action is happening. He's running or he's doing something. So that is how it creates more drama. We'll just quickly run through the presentation. I think it is done now. I'll just quickly run through the presentation because I don't have much time now. So as I said, that it can be used in architecture and engineering space, construction space, plus it can also be used to visualize a factory. So people who are associated with customers who work with big automotive companies or any product company who have uh, the factory setup. Now, factory setup is very caddish, looks very dull and dry, dull and drab, but you can add or maybe spruce up the entire experience by visualizing the same inside VRED. Okay, and there is another benefit of visualizing in the VRED software is that I'll show you, because it also supports virtual reality. So you can also consume that data or use that data to have a a virtual reality experience. Another thing that we have actually recently done is that we have given a tool called rounded edges. So which means that when you create a data in any of the engineering software, it's very sharp. You can see that it's a sharp data. There are no fillets on the edges. I'm referring to the right side of the model. So in VRED, you can actually without making the fillets in the software, you can actually see that how those fillets may look inside the visualization software by just by one click. So there is no data change. There is no fillet in the data, but in the visualization data, the fillets are visible. Okay, you can see there was a data without the fillet, and there is a data, the image with the fillet. So it helps you to actually make your case and understand how your data is. Yeah, so that is it from the VRED point of view. Another thing I want to end with is that there has been a VR revolution, and you must have seen that there are so many different types of headsets that are available in the market. There are different type of headsets which are very expensive. There are headsets which are very cheap as Cardboard VR or Google Cardboard. But each of them is serving only one purpose, is that they want to consume data in a very different way. So the data sets that you see on a 2D screen, your HMD device will help you to consume the same data in a different format, maybe in a 3-dimensional virtual reality or maybe augmented reality. And now there are certain technologies which are coming pointing towards mixed reality. So our software actually supports 3 or 4 type of HMDs, out of which I think 2 are most popular in India: Oculus Rift and head-mounted device. And the use case is that before you even make a product in the physical form, you don't make a mock-up or don't make a prototype. Even in the digital format, you can experience the product in a one-to-one scale. So in this image, you can see that this guy who is maybe a designer or maybe from marketing is looking at the wheel rim of a car, and you know which car it is. And this is the stage where he can actually go back to the drawing board and make changes. And same is with the different color color schemes, color variants which are available. So I mean, this is a very crucial phase because you don't have to manufacture color. You have to just visualize the color, and that color is being visualized in a almost a realistic environment. Okay, so this is actually a win-win situation with many companies. There are many companies in India who have already adopted this technology, and they are really finding a lot of value that it is bringing to them, and it is actually saving a lot of time and a lot of money because they don't manufacturers don't want to create something and then test and then see it fail. So it is very it's helping them a lot. So just the point is that so the data that you create, the data that you manage inside VRED can be also utilized or consumed in various other formats. So that actually concludes my presentation, my webinar. I think if there are any Q&A, I'll be happy to take. I think the poll questions would be run. There will be poll questions. I think Avinash, you can help with the poll questions. If there are questions, I'll just try to answer them. Avinash, you want to run the poll? Okay, you've already. Okay.
Yes, Sumant, I've started the poll questions.
Okay. Yeah, so you continue to do the poll questions. I'll just try to answer some of the few of the queries which have come. So it says how to download this video. This question by Hiren Mistry. I don't know which video you are referring to, but if you're talking of the presentation that I'm giving, I think that you can actually reach out to the same link that you had registered. I think something will happen there only. It's like a Creo viewer. Creo viewer, I'm not sure. Its application is that the data which you create either in Creo or NX or CATIA, if it needs to be visualized in a proper manner, this is the answer to your all your problems. Because what I've seen in the industry is that you create very good models, very good CAD models, very efficient CAD models, but when you present them, when you try to communicate with those models to your higher management or to your seniors, it becomes a challenge, because it's very difficult to galvanize their thought process with yours, or maybe unify the thought process. So if you have a very compelling visualization, and I think the example of mannequin that I presented, I think would reflect the same, that how a simple silhouette versus a person who actually is standing there can actually make a lot of difference to your visualization quality. Okay, another question which is coming is, sorry, I think why I'm not able to see the entire, okay, yeah, so, oh, there are many questions. Is there any aerospace industry using this software? Is it taking CATIA files, don't want to use IGSO step? AutoCAD layout can be directly changed to 3D rendered visualization for civil layouts and factory layouts. See, DWG file can be read within VRED. If you have the DWG files available with you, you can download our software, trial software, and you can see it happening for yourself, because I showed you the live demo where I imported the DWG file. Okay, another question is from the same guy, I think. This is only for visual effects, PPT and animations, or this will also generate the BOM based on the changes done? No, it is not for BOM. You can use it for making compelling imagery. Any other render tools, but can we scale, distort, rotate the UV map of material? Yes, all the maps that you actually saw in the presentation, they're all, the mapping is all exposed. So you can map them as per, you can change the mapping size, the texture size based on your requirements. You can do that, definitely. Can we create a standalone interactive VR environment in VRED so that we could share it with person who don't have VRED to experience the design interactively? Well, we are working on that. We know that this is something which is quite powerful. What you can do is you can you need to have a VRED session to experience VR. You cannot have a sort of a executable file which you can share with the person and ask him to experience VR. So that is not possible as of now. How to download this? I think I've already answered. I'm not able to see the screen. Yeah, I think that's all. If there are any questions, you can actually send it to us. We'll be more than happy to answer this one. But I think this is a very new technology, so you may not be quite you may not have seen this technology very often in our engagements with the industry, but because it was very limited to automotive companies. But now for the last 2 years, we have added tools, and we have made the other tools work very well with VRED software, so that every user coming from any industry can actually make use of the visualization capabilities and other capabilities in the software. Okay, so I think my time is done. I think we're already past 4. So I think I would like to end here. Thank you very much for your attendance and your attentiveness. Thanks for all the questions and queries. If there are any questions that you really want us to help you with, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I'm available on Twitter also. I'm available on other channels, but it would be really good if you can formally write questions and queries to us. Be more than happy to answer. And I think Avinash will help you with the video copy of this recording of this video of this presentation. So thank you all. Thanks for your presence.